Before we get into today's episode, I wanted to tell you guys about PicDrop. PicDrop is an image transfer tool I've been using personally for over 5 years now. It's how I send all my photos to my clients and where I have online galleries where I can store my work. It's really this kind of intuitive platform that was actually designed by photographers for photographers so they understand what photographers need when they're delivering their photos to clients. The thing I like about it is my clients can write notes on the photos. They even have this cool scribble tool, so if you're working with a retoucher, they can you can make notes on the photos and really just communicate easier, and just really easy, intuitive platform. It's not like some of the more outdated platforms like WeTransfer or Dropbox. With PicDrop, they actually understand what photographers need, so that's kind of what the best thing about it is. And with today's episode, if you enter the promo code Banter, you'll get 2 months free at PicDrop.com. So definitely go give it a try and let me know what you guys think. Welcome back to the Photo Banter podcast. I'm your host, Alex Gagne, and on today's special holiday episode, I welcome back returning guest, photographer Ric Stovall, who is also the host of the podcast, The Visual Revolutionary, where Ric also interviews photographers, filmmakers, and other creatives. We do this episode every year, this kind of holiday episode where me and Ric kind of touch base and this kind of shoot the shit, talk to each other and see what we've been working on over the year, and kind of look forward to it every year. Ric's a really great guy. He's been in the business for a long time and does some really great interviews with this podcast. So definitely go check that out, The Visual Revolutionary. And yeah, without further ado, we'll get into this episode. And thanks so much. All right, now we're back. We're back. Is this the third or fourth holiday?
Third iteration.
Third iteration.
Visual
Excited.
banter, photo revolutionary. I don't know, something.
I had someone left a message last week. They're like, "When's the episode coming?"
Really?
So yeah, dude.
Someone likes me. That's great.
Yeah, dude. They were like, "When are you guys doing the
People are
collab?"
like, please don't have that fucking guy back on.
No,
That windbag.
I look forward to it now, man. But I guess what's been up, man? I know last time I talked to you, the powder's already been charging out there in Colorado. You've been snowboarding already?
It was, and then it went away. It hasn't snowed in a long time. It's been like 40 in the 40s.
Yep.
So yeah, all the shredders out there locally are kind of waiting and anticipating. But there's nothing in the forecast for even for Christmas, which is always a little bit of bummer. You know, like you live in the mountains, you expect to have
That's what you pay for.
pretty white Christmas. Sorry, I'm multitasking. I gotta turn the audio up on my end.
No worries.
So yeah, dude, what have you been up to?
Same old. I was excited. I always look forward to doing this every year, this to recap like what we've been doing. But I was gonna ask you. I was talking to my other friend recently. Like we both been doing freelance for a long time now. But every year around this time of the year, man, I always have this feeling of like, at least for me, it usually kind of slows down December, January. I always just have this feeling of like, well, it was a good year, but hopefully it rolls over into the new year. Do
Yeah.
you feel that way, or are you just like steady with it now?
No, it's funny. This year was one of my worst years. I had an insane fall,
Hmm.
but like a lot of the people I was talking to, man, my summer was weirdly slow. Like work came in, but not enough. And before you were recording, you were asking about my studio. Like I have a decent amount of money that goes out the door every month. I've got older kids, I've got a mortgage, I've got all the things, all the
Yep.
trappings,
Yeah.
all the enslavements. And so when shit slows down like it did, I was definitely scrambling, man. And then it all picked back up. I had a really busy fall. It's continued to be pretty steady. I just came off a pretty big job. Literally like 2 days ago we wrapped. Um, so I'm kind of more in the like I hope next year is busier
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right now, but
Uh,
glad to hear
over,
you busy year.
yeah, overall year was good. But I'm always just like, I don't know, man. Why do we do this to ourselves? Freelance life is like it's good and
Right.
it's bad. It's like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's just like I know I love it, but I feel like the older I get, it just stresses me out more. You know what I mean?
It's the love hate.
Yeah.
One of my good buddies, and he was kind of my right hand man, and he was even a co-host on this show when it first started. He left in 2020, and he had worked with me for years. But he's got a full-time job now with like a paycheck.
Yeah.
And it's got its pros and cons too. Like there's plenty of things he being on salary as a creative, he's just like this is silly, but the lack of stress of
Yeah.
is there going to be a paycheck, like
Yep.
knowing he's got a check coming every 2 weeks is, I think that part's a benefit. I just couldn't, dude, I haven't had like a job. I mean, it's been a really, really long time. So I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah, same here. Yeah, I think what you realize is like you don't win either way.
yeah.
Like, you freelance, you win because you have your time and you don't have to
Yeah.
deal with like the office politics and all that type of corporate bullshit in that sense. But then the offhand of freelance is like, well, hope I keep getting hired.
Totally.
uh,
Totally. Yeah. Hope people don't figure me out that I'm a fraud.
no, you're not a fraud. But I guess photo wise this year, were there any cool projects you worked on or like?
Man, I just came off of one, like I said, that I actually I can't give the details away because it's still kind of under wraps, but I got the opportunity to DP a car commercial.
Oh shit.
And yeah, not something I do, man.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I didn't even think you really did that much motion shit.
I mean, I do plenty of motion. Usually I'm directing,
Okay.
and I mean, I can camera operate for sure. I mean, I know I'm pretty decent. And it was an opportunity that presented itself. I'm friends with the director, and he seemed to believe in me. I was definitely had massive imposter syndrome. When he called, I was like, I don't know if you got the wrong, I think you might have the wrong number, dude.
Yeah.
Like, but he insisted, and I said yes, and it was super stressful for sure because I definitely felt a little outside of my comfort zone. With architecture and all the hotel work, man, I've done
Definitely.
it for so long.
Yeah.
It doesn't throw me off anymore.
Yeah.
But it was good for me, man. It was good to like wake up on day one, like super fucking nervous, and then slowly kind of sink. It was a 3-day production, and
Yeah.
slowly kind of really sink into it. And yeah, it was fun, man. It was a real learning experience, and it was cool seeing, having seeing how someone else kind of runs their show. And even though he's a friend, like we never worked together, so yeah, it was good. It was good times, man.
Yeah, that is good to like because inevitably freelance you get opportunities thrown your way sometimes and sometimes it's out of your wheelhouse, but it's like that challenge is good because I'd imagine you probably like before that shoot you're probably doing way more prep work
Oh, dude.
than you would normally. You're like double checking your
Yeah.
gear, testing
Uh,
that shit out. Like,
Yeah, watching all their videos, being like just psyching myself out basically.
yeah.
Like I got enough of an ego and I have confidence in my abilities, but it's definitely yeah, it felt different. It felt like being on a first big shoot type thing, just because that I definitely don't, I don't shoot cars for sure, and so doing all this uh follow cam work and all drone stuff, and yeah, it was cool, man. It was really cool. I've had this kind of mantra. I don't remember if we talked about it a year ago, but man, my studio is like it's in other spaces and somebody just sneezed so loud, but that's what we're talking
I didn't
about.
hear it. No, I didn't hear
Of course you
it.
didn't, but I did. Like, geez. Uh I've had kind of this mantra going about the last like year. And I'm really like I'm just trying to say yes to things.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying to say yes to things that I would normally say no to. So I think by doing that, I've been presented a lot of opportunities in the last year that aren't necessarily things that I do, but it's things that other people believe that I can. And so I've just been like, yeah, sure.
Hmm.
And before I would have definitely been like, no, I'm good, man. Like I'm not interested in that. And
Is that like ego shit you think? Like some of it?
no, I think it's fear usually, right?
Oh, okay.
Like you're just like, I don't know, that's not what I do,
Yeah.
like that's not what I'm
Yeah.
good at. And just kind of constantly really putting myself outside of my comfort zone and just, you know, stepping into projects that are not, like I said, not necessarily what I do, but I'm capable of doing. And yeah, it's been good.
Yeah, I think it's like a good reminder because, like you said, like even me, like I kind of do a lot of similar stuff. I do environmental portraits, and I've been doing it forever. I can do it in my sleep. But then you realize, like, if you actually take the time, stop, and like, you can learn so much new stuff. You just have to take the time to do it.
Yeah.
Like even me, I remember I took a class in Premiere like a few years ago. I never knew how to do it, and then I figured I learned how to do it because I actually took the time
Yeah.
and like concentrated and like figured out how to use this thing. And that could be with anything. Because you think about early days photography, at least for me, I remember it was like had this old like Henry Hornstein book. He had like a it's a popular black and white like you learn how to develop film and like you just had to sit down and like figure it out. But I feel like the longer you go down the line, you kind of just get comfortable or complacent sometimes, at least for myself, a little bit, you know?
Yeah, I think complacent's the right word for sure. Especially as you get look, dude, you do great environmental portrait work. And so it's easy to get in that zone of and there's nothing wrong with like
Do,
being, trying to
doing
master
yeah,
something. That's
doing what
great.
you like, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think the more you kind of slowly master something, the less likely you are when something outside of that mastery presents itself to go, yeah, I'm interested in that. You're like, well, that's not,
Yeah.
I don't do that. And so, like I said, over the last year, by kind of having that practice, I've been surprised that, like I've had some opportunities outside of even photography and filmmaking that were really cool that I just said yes to. And I was like, oh,
Like what?
that all worked out. Uh, Once again, I can't remember. We might have talked because I think it was just starting, but we started doing these
Oh
retreats.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We did talk about that
Yeah. And
last year, yeah.
so yeah, and they kept coming, and like the response to them has been really positive, and so just stuff like that, nothing I want to
That's dope.
get up on my soapbox and act like I'm
No, no,
special.
no, no. But I mean,
Just something that was
yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to like I don't know. I'm not like a New Year's resolution guy, but kind of similar thing in the new year. I'm just like, yeah, try some different stuff. Like get out of your box and like whatever that is. Like, I don't know, take a class. Maybe I'll fucking get into glass blowing or some shit. I don't know. Like
yeah.
whatever. Like why not try shit and see like because I always think about that sometimes. Like you never know. Like, there's so many things I've never tried. Maybe I'd be like really good at it. Like, I've never played piano. Who knows? Maybe I'd be good at that. I just have never
Totally.
tried. It's kind of funny. Like,
Yeah, I was just talking. I think it's the episode I just released with Will Saunders.
mhm.
Yeah, it was that one for sure. And I was telling him I've just never been able to wrap my head around people that are just complaining about being bored. And I'm like,
Yeah,
dude, the older I get, I'm just feel like I'm quickly running out of time to be able to do all the things that I never did. And so yeah, I love what you just said. Like I can tinker on a piano, but like one of my like few kind of regrets in life is not really learning a musical instrument because I love music so much. And
yeah.
but then you say that and then you're like, well, I probably still have
You could
quite a while to
you could
learn.
do it. Yeah, you could be
I could be doing it.
talk to Rick in 5, 10 years. You could be in a band. We're gonna be doing the interview from the road.
Oh
You'll be
yeah,
doing
that's
doing
right.
shows, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. I love it. I love it. Well, tell
Yeah.
me about some of your favorite shoots. You've been on quite a few, man.
Oh, this year.
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, actually, I'll share some photos. I figure it could be cool because I've been posting the video ones online, on YouTube and shit. So I pulled it up. I'll show you some stuff I shot this year if you want to check it out.
Yeah.
My desktop is so disgusting.
Sweet. I think I
Uh,
remember you posted this one on Instagram, didn't you?
Yeah, this is probably the project I'm like most excited,
Yeah.
proud of for this year. This is Michael Sagaris. He's like the longtime Oakland Athletics team photographer and the San Francisco 49ers. Like
Yeah.
he's been with the A's and 49ers for like 45 years or something like that. And so with the Oakland Athletics moving to Vegas, this was their final season in Oakland. So I was like, I gotta go up and I reached out to Michael. I was like, hey man, I want to kind of document you for like a couple games, and he let me just kind of tag along with them and
Hmm.
kind of photograph like a day in the life of him like in the last season with the Athletics.
So cool.
And the dude's just like really inspiring. Like he's 79. I think he's turning 80 pretty soon, and he's
Wow.
still out there shooting every game, like
Hmm.
running around, like talking shop with all the players in this shooting nonstop. Like just just a real badass and
Yeah, that's
good.
amazing.
Yeah, so
Those are
I,
great.
Yeah, so I was pumped on this. Obviously love baseball and shit. Um,
Well, it's like it's like two of your passions combined there. I'd like to have, I know your love of baseball, and then to have,
yeah.
such an inspiring photography figure to be able to kind of hang out with and watch him still be so amped on all of it it's got to be
Dude, and he's like a celebrity at the games. Like the people, the fans know him and shit. Like they're high fiving him at the end of the game. It was so sick.
so cool.
Yeah, but yeah,
Very
that
cool,
that was
dude.
that was the one I was probably most pumped on. But yeah, I don't know. I was trying to keep it moving. I've been shooting.
You get to talk with him that much when you were hanging out, or was it kind of
Oh yeah,
still
dude. I would.
remote?
I spent like basically 2 whole days with him. So I would go meet him at his house. He lived in like in San Francisco. I meet him house in the morning, and then we would drive to Oakland together in the car. And he's just like telling me,
Wow.
he's like telling me stories about like shooting baseball like in the '70s and shit, or like yeah, and like '80s. And it's like it was just so different back then. Like they're like traveling on the road. It was like sports writers and photographers, and they're like partying with the players and shooting photos. And it was just like really cool just kind of hear all the stories from back in the day, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
very cool. Yeah, that had to be. You should have had him on the show, man. Did he not want to?
I've had him on twice.
Oh, you have? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I had him on
Check it
because
out.
he's also the 49ers coach, not coach, photographer. And so I had him on last year right before the Super Bowl and just kind
Okay,
of
cool.
talked to him about that. And
I'll go back and listen to that one for sure. That sounds cool.
yeah, he's a legend. Really interesting dude because he started off as a political writer, speech writer for one of the Kennedys. I'm blanking on which Kennedy it was, but one of the politicians or whatever.
Hmm.
And then he like just got into photography and shot like the Grateful Dead and like Led Zeppelin and all these like
Amazing.
OG like bands and whatever, and then got into sports and stuff like that.
So, which one, if I'm listening to one of the episodes, which one has more of his bio? Probably the first one.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, first one. They both kind of because he can talk. Like
I
he's a
bet.
yeah. So they're both interesting. Like I think the second one's the beginning part is probably more about football and the Super Bowl, but it gets into
Mhm.
like a bunch of random shit.
Cool.
But yeah, I was hyped on that, and then been shooting the Hasselblad a lot more lately, which
Yeah, I
has
heard
been
you talking
fun.
about
Yeah, I was pretty hyped. I finally bought a scanner so now I can scan at home. Never had like a good one, so I'm pretty excited about that. Um, but yeah, other than that, it's yeah, this is my normal editorial. Had some commercial stuff. Had my first billboard on in Times Square.
that.
Uh,
Sweet.
yeah, so I was hyped on that.
What
But
about that? What was that shoot?
Massachusetts tourism campaign. So
Uh-huh.
we photographed like this like Paul Revere like reenactor like on a horse like it was cool. But other than that, I don't know. I was trying to keep it moving.
Did you
And
go
then
down to Times Square, get a selfie with the billboard?
nah, someone sent me a picture of it. Like I wanted to go check it out in person, but it was just like I like going to New York's a pain in the ass. It's just
Yeah.
like it's a long drive, and I was like I got a picture of it. I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah,
You got back to it looked like you traveled around a bit to do the podcast for a little bit. That
yeah. I've
I
been
always like when you do that, man. That kind of makes me jealous. That's how I wanted to do this show when I
yeah.
first started, and then I quickly realized, like, man, that's
No, like it's not feasible. Like I
yeah,
don't do all of them, and a lot of times when I do it, like I'll either like have a shoot and I'll try to like if I'm in a city, I'll try to line it up that way. Or if it's like I went to Minneapolis and interviewed Alex Soth a couple weeks ago,
yeah.
just because like that was just a cool experience to get to meet him. But yeah, I mean, I try to do as many as I can in person because I definitely like it more. But yeah, it's expensive, so can't do them all.
Yeah, no, I listened to your Soth interview, man. It was good. I tried to get him on the show a while back. It fell through, so
Yeah,
oh, oh damn, he got him.
let's keep at it, man. It's like, hey, what we say, we still got the ongoing bet. Who gets Leibowitz first at the hundred
Yeah,
bucks? It's 100
either
bucks.
of us. He's gonna go do one of these other random podcasts that we've never heard of, and we'll be like, ah, damn it.
No, I don't know, but yeah, it's been good. Been doing a lot of the podcasts just to stay busy.
You've been crushing, man. You've been releasing all kinds of episodes. I disappeared for a really long time there, and then as you know, it had been a while since I released one, and then I started seeing you pumping them
Yeah,
out.
you're like text me. You're like, man, you're like, you got me motivated. I got to get back out there and start booking some.
Uh-huh.
Uh, I mean, it probably was good to take a break though, because I've done that before. I slowed down. I just kind of,
Mhm.
because it's a lot of work, just lining everything up and everything.
Yeah, yeah, I do it. I've done it. multiple times. I think we talked about it the last time we got together, but yeah, it happens. I don't know, man. You just get like kind of overwhelmed with other stuff, and you're like, man, I don't have time to keep getting these interviews lined up and get them out, and then once you've what inevitably happens is once you miss like 2 weeks, then
Then
miss
you're like, yeah, it's
miss the
like going to
third,
the
the
gym,
fourth.
man.
Totally.
You miss a week, and then it's just like, hey, back to the square one again.
6 months later, you're like, oh man, I put weight on. I should hit the gym again. So
Yeah, yeah.
pretty much what happened, and but I've been back at it a little bit, and I mean, not very long, since October. Like I think the October was my first episode back, and had some good interviews. But like I said, watching you crank them out, for sure. I saw Jason Lee was back on. You just dropped that one. That's cool.
Yep.
How's
Yeah,
he doing, man? I had him on years ago. I should try
he's good.
back
He's
on.
good. Yeah, you should reach out to him. Yeah, he had a new book out, and then he opened a really cool camera store. It's all like
Yeah.
film and like film cameras and all that kind of stuff. Igor Rock Camera in Los Angeles. So if you're ever out there, definitely go check it out. But yeah, he was good. Um, but yeah, just yeah, the
Yeah, because
podcast
that was
thing.
kind of part of your trip, right? You did like a big Los Angeles chunk, I thought.
That one I did on Zoom. But yeah, I
But
went to
no, not him. Like you went out there because I one
yeah,
looked
I had some work out there like end of September. I had a shoot out there. So I think I forget I recorded I did I can't remember now. My brain's fucking burnt. But I definitely did some when I was out there.
yeah.
I forget who I interviewed.
Uh-huh.
uh
You Atiba, maybe Atiba or something.
nah, I actually randomly interviewed him in Rochester, New York
Oh, that's right. It
like a
was like
year
your
when I was at
course.
RIT or whatever. But
That's
yeah.
right.
Um other than that, yeah. Uh yeah, it's been a good year. What I listened to the Arto interview. That was a good one.
Yeah, well, Arto's great. Arto's fun, man. Like we're computer friends. We're digital buddies.
Yeah. Um,
That's all you had him back on too. But yeah, unfortunately, and I said it in the intro, like
he
but
released he
yeah, by the
released
time I released it, his book was sold out. So I was like, well, here you
Hey,
go anyway,
he sold out, so he's good.
Yeah.
Uh
Yeah, he's
uh
pushing it, man. I love what he's doing. I keep telling him like I want to see because him and Templeton are buddies anyway. I was like, dude, you guys got to do like
the
you
book
need to
together.
do the bike path together and then Huntington Beach together, and let me see like both takes on.
Oh, like have Ed go to Hawaii and shoot the
Yeah,
path.
totally. Yeah, man. And then Arto go to Huntington Beach.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, be good content. I'll film it. So I'm putting it out there again for both of them. I'll come out there. I'm a DP now.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. You got one job on your belt. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Uh,
So yeah, that was a good one. Yeah, I've had a few. I don't know. The one I just released was cool to catch up. He was such a cool interview. Will Saunders is his name, and does a lot of commercial work in kind of the outdoor space, and then a lot of car stuff and everything now.
mhm.
But he came on the show the first time in 2020, and when he emailed me, he told me this story, and I was like, dude, that's wild because I had this guy Tim Kemple on. He was with Camp 4 Collective, and for a minute, man, they were just huge. I mean, they're still big, but like for a minute, it was like him and Renan Ozturk and Jimmy Chin and oh, I'm blanking someone. Shoot. Anyway, and they were just crushing in like as a whole kind of production house, stills, big high-end filmmaking, getting big budgets. Anyway, when I had Tim on at the very end of the show, he was like, "Hey, let's test out your audience. I'm just letting everybody know I'm looking for an assistant." And so this guy Will Saunders was listening to the show, reached out to him,
Wow.
became Tim's assistant, working for that huge company, and now he's just out there crushing it on his own.
Wow. And that was like in what, like a 5 year span or something?
Uh, no, it's probably been like a 7 year span now. So like when he came on in 2020, he was already on his own. He had left Camp 4 Collective and was starting to like book North Face campaigns and stuff like that. And now in the last 4 years, he's been shooting like Toyota commercials and a bunch of stuff for Ariat and really some cool stuff. And continues to work in the rock climbing space too, but big kind of advertising campaigns in that space. So cool story, man. And it's always, it was definitely wild for me to hear like your show somehow affected someone's career. You're like, oh,
Oh,
that's
holy shit, dude. That is a pretty cool
you
story.
want to send checks to.
Yeah. So yeah, yeah. That's cool. Is there
Uh,
a lot there's a lot of car work that gets shot in Colorado, like right where you're at? Is that like pretty common? Yeah.
yeah, there's multiple, kind of what become closed circuits out here for sure. There's a guy in Aspen, and I'm gonna blank his name now because I've been trying to get him on the show forever. But he was race car driver and big car commercial guy now. And
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, there's some stuff out here for sure. He's Will's based out of California, but he was in Salt Lake City. That Camp 4 Collective crew was in Salt Lake City, still is. But
Yeah.
so yeah, that was a cool one. But man, like we've always said, it's just for me having these conversations. It really just kind of it can it, like it keeps me motivated. Um, it keeps me kind of like I feel like I'm part of the community a little more.
Yeah.
You know,
Totally.
getting to hang out in person that much with a lot of these people, but you get to know everyone, and as you know, like some of them you keep in contact with, and
Yeah.
kind of, and then it helps you stay up to date with what's going on in the industry. Because a lot of times we can be so isolated,
Oh
and
yeah.
shit that's happening to you, you just sit there like, is this happening to everybody? And so that's kind of the benefit of us being able to do these shows is like you kind of have your finger on the pulse of like what
Oh,
everybody's dealing with.
oh yeah, then that's like half the issue. Like the thing with being in this industry, or probably in any industry, really, is like you don't know what's available unless you have access to it in some sense. Like
Yeah.
even this year, I learned something because obviously a lot of stuff is changing with the AI stuff or whatever. And I was talking to my friend who was working on a big campaign for like a big beer brand. And he was telling me like it was the first time a client reached out to like, hey, they did a shoot, but they're gonna use some of the photos, but then they're gonna put them into like some AI, like I don't know, imagery or some shit,
Mhm.
and they're actually gonna get paid more money, like a different usage to use it in different AI like settings or something.
Interesting.
And I was like, I didn't even know that was like a thing you could charge for.
Yeah.
So it's like that's all that stuff is changing like rapidly now. So yeah, and I wouldn't have known that unless I had like met all these people and shit like that, you know?
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I should do another round of because I did like 3 episodes in a row when it was kind of early on. I think it was a little over maybe a year and a half ago, and I had like Tim Tatter and some people on that were really kind of talking about what it can mean. And at the time, we were all like, it was doom and gloom. And it probably look, man, it probably still is on some of it. But it's been a little easier to kind of put our heads back in the sand and act like nothing's really happening. But then you talk to some people like what you're
Yeah.
saying, and you realize like,
Well, I think it's just gonna evolve. It's just gonna keep like blending. Like the early stuff we were seeing, like some of the stuff like Tim Tatter and those guys were doing, where
um,
it's very uh, like like it's almost like HDR, like this crazy, like you know what I'm
yeah,
talking about,
yeah,
like good, bad, whatever. You like it, good, bad, whatever. Like, but I think it's just gonna sometime the AI tool is just gonna mesh with like actual photography. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. It's just gonna be like another tool, and however you want to use it a little bit.
I think so. And then when you look at like, is it Sora? I think it's called Sora, the video one. It's they're making leaps and bounds with like
Oh yeah.
just prompts, like
Yeah.
motion video stuff that looks. I mean, it's
Oh,
pretty.
it's definitely gonna eat up some work, and that's for sure. I mean, I've already been hearing it, like especially with I think a lot of like pharma campaigns and stuff. Like my
Yeah,
yeah, and even the agency I was working with, they're using more AI stuff, and I'm just like, fuck, and I was just like, it's a bummer to hear, but shit. I went through the Wendy's drive-through the other day.
mhm.
They use AI now. Like when you go to the thing, you don't talk to a person. It's
Really?
this, yeah. It's I never first time I seen it, and it says like AI something. So it
Yeah,
says order when you're ready, and you just say like, "Hey, I want this," and then you're talking to an AI thing, and then you just drive up and pay, but you don't talk to an actual person
yeah.
anymore,
Damn.
which fucked
And the fast food employees are getting the shaft on AI.
everyone, dude. It's like
Yeah.
what? Yeah, it's. It's scary,
Yeah, it's
dude.
gonna be interesting. I mean, I'm remain positive, like it sounds like you do too. I feel like, well, it's just it's another thing, like we've dealt with. There's just been so many over the years, especially like I was starting my career in film, and then it was, the advent of everyone switching to digital, and then all these different like iterations of Photoshop, and almost every one it was a
Yeah.
bunch of people complaining how it meant like the end of, purest forms of photography and all this shit. So I think there'll always be
Well,
a
and there's
place.
yeah, and there's like some good things about it. Like some tasks that you
Oh
used to have
yeah,
to
they're getting
do,
way easier. Yeah.
dude. For instance, that Soth interview that I put on YouTube,
Uh-huh.
I recorded it on two cameras, and I'm using this new software. It's a plugin with Premiere called Autopod.
Hmm.
Literally, all you do, you bring in all your files, and then there's like this thing. You click how many speakers there are, how many cameras there are, and you just click process, and it automatically just cuts. Like
Yeah.
if you're talking, I'm talking. If this goes in literally like in 30 seconds, just like, and
Yep.
then spits out the final file. Whereas before, you'd have to spend like 2 hours being like cut, cut, cut. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh
So
yeah. And even in Photoshop, man, and just I use the shit out of a lot of the AI for sure.
did
Like
you see
it.
I saw a new one the other day. There's like a wire. Like if there's like wires like on telephone poles and shit in your
Mhm.
scene, there's like a new thing in Photoshop. You just click it and it just takes out all the wires.
Really?
Yeah, it's nuts.
Oh, I didn't know about that one. All right, I'm gonna
I don't
check it.
have a lot of wires in my photos, but in case I do, now I'm
Dude,
good.
I did a hotel not that long ago. It had like telephone wires
Yeah.
above it, because I did like a couple drone images of it, and there were a bunch of telephone lines in it. And I mean, I was using AI to take it out, but I was having to select it, to
Do you do like a lot of compositing work with like the architectural stuff?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it all is.
Yeah.
Everybody is for sure.
Yeah.
Even the natural lit stuff is still composites of natural.
Yeah.
It just has to, man. You can't. I mean, there's certain images like it just depends on what you're shooting, but there's images where maybe you're looking, it's a 1 point perspective and you're looking straight into like a fireplace and the windows are on the sides or something, and so you don't, so something like that you could shoot it in camera, no problem. But like especially when I'm working in like the Rocky Mountains or something, so much architecture is designed around view corridors and stuff, so they want to see the view, and you got a sunny 16 view out the window and it's dark inside, man. And like, even when you light it, then that um compositing to kind of figure out your lit images, but then bring a lot of the natural light in so it doesn't look like it's super
Yeah.
lit.
Yeah.
Because I used to, man, back in the day, like I used to use like I had like 12 to 15 lights in most of my shots. And at the time, it was like this really, that was the look. It was like this super, everything had a spotlight on it and it was super over the top. But now it's like my goal, I don't know that I achieve my goal, but sometimes I do, is to make it look like I didn't light it,
Yeah.
but you're, you're a photographer. And so you can look at an image and go, well,
You're like, I know that's HMI.
there's no way that bright window
Yeah.
is the
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
exposure as the inside, and so,
Did you
but
start off because
a lot of editing, man, like a lot
wait, you do all your posts pretty much for
right
your
now, and I
yeah.
have been for the last 4 years, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I need to change that at some point soon.
Did you because the OG, I remember in photo school we had to do like an architectural project and we had like the 4x5 camera on the rail, all that stuff. Did you
Yeah.
start off with 4x5? Because that was like a lot of the old school architectural guys all used to shoot 4x5 pretty
Yeah,
much, right?
the tilt shift movements. I
Yeah.
did. I mean, I played around with them, but I shot a Mamiya 645 for years with film, but I
Mhm.
scanned all my film, and so even then I was like compositing film images. So I was pretty slow to switch to digital, but pretty quick to adopt Photoshop and figure out. But there were some dudes with 4x5s doing like in camera composites by basically they were doing
Sandwiching.
super long exposures, but it was like kind of evening images.
Okay.
They would open and close the cap
Whoa.
basically with
Whoa.
long exposure, and they'd move the spotlights, and so you're basically just getting a long exposure with a bunch of different still frames inside it, and their lights would just move around, and then you'd get a pretty balanced out image with all these little spotlights everywhere. So I watched a guy shoot like that. It was pretty interesting. But then at the time, like I said, I was already messing around with pretty early versions of Photoshop, and so I was like, or I could just take a bunch of frames and then scan the film in,
Yeah,
do all
yeah.
the same thing on the computer.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is. It still is. I mean, that's the thing. It's very architecture work is definitely very editing intensive compared to, a lot of other styles of photography. Like if I'm shooting people or something, I can just, bring that into Lightroom or whatever. And, especially if it's like the same scene, you can basically just sync
Oh yeah.
your color grading across the whole thing and then maybe make small tweaks on your final edits. But yeah, each image in an architecture shoot, it's like,
Yeah, it's so much yeah, planning. Yeah, you're like shooting for the edit. It's almost like
yep,
yeah, that's interesting. Because what cameras are you using now when you shoot architectural?
just Canon R5, and then I have the R5C too. And
It is. Do you use like all those like tilt shift lenses or
yep.
not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Not always.
Yeah.
It's funny because a lot of the architecture community is like super purist about tilt shift, but
Oh, really?
oh my God, they really like pride themselves on how much they use them. And look, no shade on all of you.
That's
You know
funny.
who you are. Um, but they're not necessary for sure. I mean, especially if you shoot a little bit,
Yeah,
like
because you can fuck with it all in Photoshop anyways. Like,
yeah, you can do. I mean, you got to be good
yeah,
at doing it and really kind of have a good feel on getting your perspectives correct because
yeah,
obviously um like everything needs to be linear in architecture. I mean, so but you can also just push in, like shoot things at 24 millimeters or something, and then you don't have to worry about distortion and stuff. Sometimes you can't, obviously. And now, look, when you're shooting like a big, huge building, like in a city or something, then tilt shift is kind of a necessity almost because you're having to point the camera up a lot, and then you get those big bends of everything leaning forward, and that gets harder and harder to correct for sure.
yeah. It's actually interesting, like not knowing you for a while now, like that you do architectural stuff because you're very much like a people person. So I'm
Yeah,
like surprised, like
yeah.
that's like you do. Because I remember like I don't know, maybe it's not true, but I feel like a lot of still life photographers are probably like more introverted. Like I definitely worked for some architectural guys and still life guys, but it is cool that you do it, man.
It's funny. Well, I might have told you this before, so I apologize to anyone if I'm repeating myself. But I am a people person. I love people, and I
Yeah.
love like hearing their stories. But I also am kind of introverted. Like
Okay.
I recharge my battery solo, and so it was something I had to work through for quite a while. Like I was always kind of like, man, am I even like why did I get into architecture? Like what because I started off in like shooting skateboarding and snowboarding and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
but it's really, as someone who has a very dedicated meditation practice and stuff, that architecture really lends itself to that practice. Like it's a pretty meditative pursuit. Even after being on that car commercial for 3 days, I was like, oh my God, dude, get me back into like the quiet space of
Yeah, because the crew, how big is the crew on one of those car shoots? It's probably a lot more moving
yeah,
parts and
a lot
yeah,
of moving part and just like go, go, go,
yeah.
where when I'm in especially residential architecture, like man, I get like 3 or 4 days to
Wow.
spend with a house and it's just like how does
Yeah.
the light change and how does it interplay with the place, and it's very slow and methodical, and I don't
Okay.
know, it's kind of nice honestly.
That makes sense.
But no, but everyone else should just it's boring, don't do it.
That's not true. Architecture is amazing, man.
A lot of people have figured it out. There's a lot more. I used to be like the young guy in it, and I'm definitely not anymore.
So you're young, man. Where's prime? I just turned 40 last month, Rick. I'm over the hill, man.
Yeah, you're official.
Yeah.
Anything. I don't like we're not even to I'm not even quite middle. Maybe I'm middle aged now. I'm 47, dude. So,
Whatever. You're still
creeping
fuck.
up on, but I feel like I'm young as shit still. So, what's it matter? And you
No,
just showed me the Oakland A's guy who's 90 years old out there still shooting every game. So that's what I'm trying to do.
yeah, I don't get really too worried about that. Like, I know some people birthdays is tough and getting older, like it stresses them out, which I guess I can understand. But I don't know. I still got an excitement for stuff I want to do, and I think that's the main thing is just kind of be excited about what you're doing, and hopefully have some like momentum with it. I guess.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and just keep it. I mean, my guess is two things. I'll probably need to still be shooting because I don't have a
Yeah,
retirement.
yeah, me
Like,
too.
but also, my guess is like that guy is staying really young at heart because
Oh,
he's doing it. It's way easier to start. I think you see people age way quicker once they stop doing all the things. And
yeah,
so,
it's like your mind. He's like interacting with people all the time and like
Mhm.
going, and obviously the physical part too for sure. But yeah, you're just yeah, I don't know. I don't want to stop. I want to keep on going, man.
Yeah. Are you still shooting the R5 too, or
Yeah, yeah, R5 for work stuff, and
Mhm.
then
Hassy?
Hassie for the personal work pretty much, which has
Which
been
has the 501 or
I got the 501 CM, and I'm trying to find I haven't darkroom printed in forever, but I want to make some prints again. But I gotta try to find somewhere to rent darkroom space. I haven't done it in like fucking decades, but that's
you just sending your film in to get processed and get scans done or something?
yeah. I sent it to New York because the lab in Boston they're good. The lab in Boston's good, but they're just like really slow. Like you won't get your
Yeah.
film back for like a month. So I ship it to New York and you get your scans back in like 24 hours.
Oh, cool. They just send you the digital files and then mail you the film.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
mail me the film, which is kind of a hassle because I gotta like send them a UPS thing and whatever. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, I got to get my Mamiya fixed. That's the only one I got left. I mean, I sold so many film cameras a long time ago,
you have this. You have the
including
RZ, or
the Leica.
you have the RZ, or which one do you got? The 645.
645. I have two of them. I've got the AFD 3, which was like the last one they made, and then I think just the original AFD. So I shot those with digital backs even for a long time, and then did phase, and then sold off the phase gear and switched to Nikon, and then went from Nikon to Canon.
Everyone's going to Fuji now. Like so many people are switching to that
That
GFX.
medium format.
It's sick, but I mean, if I were talking about it, I don't need that big of a file, man. Like you're
Yeah.
gonna be burning through hard drives, dude.
Mhm.
Like I mean, I know it's a dope camera, but I don't know that I would need. I don't want all that. It's like too much for me.
Yeah, I looked at it. I used it I rented it for a while and used it, and
Hmm.
it's great. I mean, once again, I shot phase cameras and I shot Leaf Aptus packs and all kinds of I mean, I shot medium format digital for a while, but at the time, I just got so tired of like every couple 2 to 3 years, like throwing down a new car payment.
No, I know, dude. I'm like, I'll run my R5 till it breaks, dude. I don't give a
Yeah.
shit. Like, I'm like
Great
it's
camera. It
yeah,
does
it's
everything I need it to do. I don't know. I've never had an architect or anyone complain about the resolution. That's for sure.
no, because now we've like reached the point of like every camera now like it's good like pretty
Yeah.
much like early days of digital I remember like my D2H was a 4 megapixel, yeah, those files sucked,
Yeah.
but now we've kind of reached the pinnacle pretty
Dude,
much.
I still have there's a D2H sitting in one of these studio cabinets. Is it behind me? No.
I used to have a Nikon F5. I remember I
Mhm.
bought that night that camera was fucking awesome. uh
Yeah.
uh oh, this is a good one. So dream cameras that you don't own.
Hmm.
What are three cameras? Like, if you did money aside, which three would you like to pick if you could pick?
Uh just any digital
Any camera. You can pick three
cameras.
cameras, any camera you want in the world.
God,
Like,
three
no money
cameras.
aside, not a problem. You can have whatever cameras you want. Which three or
I don't know,
would
man.
you pick
You
up?
go first. Uh I mean, I'd like to have a Leica again because, like I said, I had one and I fucking sold it like an
We
idiot.
want M6 or which one do you get?
Um, that's a good question.
I'd get the MP. I don't want the red dot.
You don't you can
Yeah.
dude, put some gaff tape over
Yeah.
it. Yeah, maybe the M6. I shot the M11. It's pretty sick, man.
Oh, that's the digital one, right?
Yeah, and I'm not, you know, man, good question. Yeah, I don't know. I'm
Uh,
interested in, did you see they're gonna re-release the wide lux with
oh, dude, yeah, dude, I want to get that dude on Jeff
so that could
Bridges.
be cool. That
I
would be a cool
Yeah,
camera.
dude, that is cool. I was talking about Jason in his episode
Oh, did
yesterday.
you?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, Jeff Bridges, the actor, is he recreated is manufacturing a wide lux camera.
Yep. Yeah, that's
I
pretty
think it's
cool.
coming out this year. I don't know when, but
I guarantee you it's gonna be expensive. So
oh,
that might
it's
be
it's gonna be
yeah.
I bet it'll be like 5 grand or more,
Yeah.
probably. Like
So maybe I'll put that one on there. That would
that's
be
one. I never shot that camera and Rolleiflex. I've never shot. Have you ever actually
I shot
held
a
the?
Rolleiflex. There's one right behind me. Yeah.
Oh
So
damn! All right, fucking
uh
bust that thing out. Don't just let it sit on your desk, Rick.
um yeah, I'm trying to think of some other ones.
All
Maybe
right, I know my three.
I go
Uh,
you do yours.
yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
doing gaming.
This guy doesn't know shit.
I know.
I'm going. I'm going. I would love a Mamiya 7.
That's a great one.
I'd want a Toyo, the like field,
I was just about to say
the
Toya.
one that like folds up. I used to use it
Yep.
in college. It's the shit because you can just like it folds up nice. You can throw it in your backpack. So I'd
Yep.
take a Toyo, the field 4x5, and then for the third one, uh, fuck. I'm trying to say. I think it'd be sick. I've been eyeing the contacts. Was it the G2? That thing looks sick. My
Oh
friend,
yeah,
it's
sure.
with the flash.
Mhm.
It just has like a distinct look. I want to grab one of those. I think those are three cameras I'm excited about. I don't, not that I'm gonna buy anytime soon, but
Yeah, I'm not. I definitely won't be. Yeah, I feel like I'm just basically getting out of answering. Yeah, I don't know. I'd like M6 again because I
yeah.
had one. Wide Lux and maybe that new Hasselblad. What is it?
Oh, the
The
X2D. Oh,
X2D.
I got to fuck around with that. Matt Day had one.
Yeah, I know he does. I know
Hasselblad
he
gave
does.
Hasselblad gave it to him.
Of course
But
they do.
that thing, it's nice because it's like small, but the files are beautiful. But it's like you could use it as just like a travel cam. You can
Yeah,
use it for shot. It's pretty.
that's what's so sweet about it. It's like you can, it's like near pocket size, but then I could definitely put it to work in architecture and you run the paces on some
Yeah,
big files.
it's only $10,000.
I know. But once again, man, compared to like the Leaf Aptus and the phases that I own, that's a
Yeah,
drop.
you're right. Yeah,
Those
you're
things
right.
are 30,
I'm surprised Phase like who's using Phase these days. I don't like.
There's people. There
I know
are people.
Joe Pug does. He still's got a phase, but
Does?
yeah, he shoots a
Yeah.
lot of phase, I think. Um,
What else you got? That was a good question.
yeah, man. Rick's
You prepared, dude. You had
no,
a
I was just yeah, that's off the dome right there, man. People, that's what I realized. People love gear shit, dude.
yeah,
Like,
I know.
I like gear, but I don't talk about it as much. But it
They
is
don't love when two people that don't know shit about gear talk about gear.
these fucking losers.
You guys don't even know the name of the
Yeah, what the Leica Q3 that camera looks sick. The 40 what is it? The 43 millimeter just came.
45, I
Yeah,
think. 40, no, you're right.
yeah.
43.
Hey, Leica, send Rick a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on. Let me show
Uh,
you what a Leica can do in art.
um,
Let me prove these people wrong that you don't need a tilt shift. Leica, send me one. I'll prove it.
yeah. Did you shoot? We've been talking about it for years, man. Did you shoot
Shoot personal stuff.
any personal work this year?
I know. That's not what we've been talking about, though. So, yes, always. I'm always shooting personal stuff. What we've been talking about is
Oh,
the
sharing it.
share it,
Yeah, yeah.
So did I put it on my website?
Yeah.
No, I still haven't.
That's it's all right. Hey, maybe not web. Throw it on Instagram, man. Make a little post here and there. Throw it on the
Make
story
a
at least.
different
Let's
account, you know?
give them a little sneak peek. 24 hours, it disappears. You don't gotta live with it forever, but you can
True.
let people know.
That's true.
Uh, me and I have a group chat with two other friends who are photographers, and our one friend he shoots all the time, but he
Mhm.
doesn't share any of it.
Yeah, you like,
So we just berate him. Like it's like
uh,
I'm like, dude, like, what's the point in taking the pictures if no one can look at them?
dude, I have a musician friend and who produces too. He actually did the theme song for this show and exact same way. He makes music all the time. It's so dope. I get little like if I'm in his studio, he's like, check this out. I'm like, bro, send that to me.
Yeah.
I'll play it in the car like all day, and never shares stuff with me. I beg every time we hang out. I'm like, when are you gonna send me a mixtape? And it never happened.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, man. It's hard putting yourself out there sometimes, and I mean,
I don't,
social.
I don't, it's not me. It's like really not me, like
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I just don't do it.
No, I
I
get it.
still have this microphone that drives you crazy too. You know,
Yeah,
it's
you're like I tell him Rick every year he looks like Wilson from fucking Home Improvement, the guy with the fence. Yeah, that's the picture. I'm gonna screen. That's gonna be the post when I post it. Yeah. Um.
yeah, I'll get there. I don't know, man. You know, maybe I'll start sharing some car commercial stuff, you know. That's gonna be my new passion.
Yeah, you should. You can be like fucking Dana Nyberg out there, man. Just cranking car commercials, making buku bucks.
Uh-huh. Are you
Yeah.
gonna travel anymore to do any more episodes? You got some trips coming up. When you
Uh,
coming here, dude? When you coming to
I know
Colorado?
we do need to make that happen. Next year. Maybe I'll just try to plan for it now.
Yeah, come summer, man. You'd like it out here for sure.
Going to Hawaii next month. Gonna
To
go.
Arto?
Yeah, go out there for like 10 days and get out of the cold and try to shoot. I'm gonna bring the Hasselblad. My goal. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna bring the Hasselblad. I want to try to shoot for the 10 days and make a little zine
Oh, cool.
from that like Hawaii trip. I don't know if I'll get enough. See how it goes, but that's kind of my goal, just to like give myself a project and something just to kind of make and put out there.
Yeah, he told me you were giving him a hard time about being an LCD shooter.
Oh, not, no, I heard that. I loved it, dude. Non-stop, dude. Non-stop.
Dude,
Live.
when he was telling me how he shoots on the bike path, I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
He'll this right by like I mean it's cool like to watch him shoot. But I just think I know that's how people shoot now. Like a lot of
Uh-huh.
younger people now shoot live view. Like they look
Yeah,
to me, I don't it just feels weird to me. Like
I can't do
I
it. I
feel
don't,
like I'm like
yeah.
lopsided and then like
Oh, me
I
too.
want to be like looking in the thing, but like that's like the common way like a lot of people
Oh, for
shoot.
sure. Yeah, there's some great shooters out there that all that. No, I'm not talking about that though. I'm talking about that he holds the button down, you know, and he's got
Oh
it
yeah.
on
But
rapid fire. And of
I've seen it work though because like the
course,
cool whenever I gone out there, like I'll see him shoot. Like we were on the bike path and he was shooting like John Florence, the surfer, and his brother
Mhm.
Ivan and their mom. They're like riding bikes, and Arto's literally just like riding for like 2 miles straight, and this like and it 99% of it is just junk. Like and
Yeah,
he'll say that too, but then he'll go through the edit and he
he
gets like
gets that frame.
gems, man, because it's and like
It's amazing. Oh,
I
dude, his work is beautiful. But
oh
and like
yeah.
whatever he's doing, keep doing it, Arto. It's just like that's he should release like some little some like video clips where it's just stop animation
The
stuff.
B side, yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
Nah, I mean, I kind of like. it was cool to see. Anytime, that's what I kind of miss about not assisting photographers anymore, because you get to see how
yeah.
other because everyone works so different.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes I'm like a little too precious with like I don't shoot like rapid fire like that. So it made me think like, yeah, this like especially with digital, like shoot as much you want.
Yeah, why not?
And yeah, so trying to it is cool to see how other people shoot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
That that'll be great to go. Yeah, you should totally do that. Do the
yep,
zine, just like
yeah.
I need to do that too. That's another that you know what? That's gonna be a New Year's
All
resolution.
right, I'm gonna stick you to it, dude.
I'm gonna do if nothing else, I'll put like I need a new architecture book. So if at bare minimum,
hmm
I'll do like a new, promotional coffee table book or something. I need
There's a really good one. I've talked about it before. No free. This isn't an ad, but they want to sponsor the pod. They can mix them. It's
yeah.
like it's like print on demand, kind of like Blur, but like it's like really good.
Uh-huh.
The quality's good.
Hey, no shade on Blurb.
Nah, Blur. I haven't used Blurb in years.
I
Back
just
in,
I just like that you're like it's kind of like Blurb. It's really good.
yeah, I haven't used Blurb in like 15 years, but
Yeah, me too.
it
Uh-huh.
wasn't that good back then. But this one's a little. I think the technology has come a little bit further. So
What's it
print
called again?
mix them.
Mix them. All right.
Yeah, they do like zines and stuff. So that's my game plan with the one I'm gonna make.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got a couple. I was literally walking around in a certain area. I'm not even gonna shout it out because someone's already doing it probably. But I was there the other day and I was like, I gotta get down here and shoot some personal work here. So I've got
Do you bring your camera when you go? Because do you snowboard or you ski?
a snowboard.
Okay, so do you bring a camera when you're like on the mountain at all ever?
No, I mean my phone. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, because man, I did that. I was shooting snowboard. I mean, that was how I started,
yeah, yeah. I get that.
I don't, and honestly. I don't know that I really ever missed that. There's a kid I know, and I've known him because he's friends with my son, and I've known him since he was a little kid, and he is like blowing up right now with Burton and stuff. And so I was talking,
Photographer or the snowboarder?
oh, a snowboarder,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And I was telling his dad the other day, I was like, I know he's got the whole Burton crew now, but like it'd be fun to just try to shoot snowboarding again with him.
Oh, I've been thinking about it lately because now I've been shooting
Yeah.
the Hasselblad again. I'm like, I've been skating a little bit. I'm like, damn, I kind of got the itch to like
Uh-huh.
go
Yeah,
because there is like the fun thing about shooting skating. I never shot snowboard, but it's similar. Like,
of course. Yeah.
you're out there in the wild and it's like trying to make something. I'm like, I kind of want to do it again.
Yeah, that I was literally that was probably a month ago. I had that conversation with him and I was like, I don't even wonder if I could still do it. It
Oh,
would like,
100%. Yeah.
yeah. I'd be
Yeah.
rusty though for sure, man. It's fast moving. But that was what once again, that was the car thing. That's how it felt, you know. I was like, oh my God, we're moving so fast here, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been that'd be good. I think that like trying to set myself up for like really make
We're
myself
good.
do.
All
I
right. Yeah.
did
All
I
right.
did some stuff last year though. I did.
All right. All right.
I
This is a good way to wrap up the conversation. So
all right, how we wrap it up?
all right. So yeah, going to the New Year's here, Rick. We want to see we want to see some IG posts with your work,
Uh
maybe a little print piece, and there you
yeah.
go.
What about you? What are you doing?
uh, this year
You're
my
gonna do the
goal,
zine in Hawaii.
yeah, yeah, that, and then I wanna. I haven't done it in year, honestly since the before the pandemic.
Hmm.
I used to do like in-person meetings, like go down to New York, try to show my book. So that's kind of working on the next couple weeks is I'm gonna make like a little printed book and try to go meet with people and just try to find some new people to work with and just get out there more because I kind of
Yeah.
just haven't done it. Like I haven't really been luckily still busy, which is
Hmm.
good, but I want to get back out there and just kind of put my work out there more than I have been.
Yeah, I like that too. I'm gonna add that to my list. I was telling myself that too when I was suffering through this last summer.
Yeah.
And I've got a buddy he's got a sweet like extended Sprinter van with like he even has the shower and stuff in it, and he
Oh shit.
never uses it. And he's like, dude, anytime you want to rent that. And I was like, okay. And I'm renting it. Just me and my family. We're headed down to Arizona for just a week here coming up, get away from the snow for a minute. And so I'm gonna rent it then. And even then, I was thinking like, man, I should do exactly what you're saying. I should go post up in a couple spots and try to get some meetings. And I've got a super cushy van I could just roll around in for a minute, you know?
Yeah, because there's some I mean Denver has some good agencies, I think, still, right?
Yeah, not Denver. I mean,
But
I would,
yeah, you're
yeah,
close enough to like the West Coast where it's not
yep.
like an insane trip.
Yeah,
You
that's what
can
I'm saying.
yeah,
Even just go, do some photo road tripping because I
yeah.
haven't done that in a long time. Like I've done some road tripping, but I'm usually with my son maybe because we're like rolling to one of his bike races together, or with my family, and they get real exhausted if I try to stop too many times to take photos, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
every time I'm like, I got to take a trip by myself to where there's no schedule. And I think if you've got a setup like that where you can just crawl in the back of it and sleep, then
Yeah.
then you're never in a
And
rush to keep moving. You like, I can just pull over and sleep
you
anytime.
don't even have to, it's not like you have to go that far. You can go like 2 hours from where you live now, like
Yep.
just somewhere different than where you normally go. And this like I've been thinking about that lately. Like I live close to Vermont, which is a beautiful place, but I never
Yeah,
drive up there. So I'm thinking like, yeah, I should just like do that. Let's go have some
totally.
shoot some photos. So
Well,
that's
Vermont's got like it's got like some cool uh still standing history. Like it's
oh
got
yeah,
the
it's like
characters that
old. Like
are
it's like a lot of the
old.
towns are like it's like through these hill towns and it's
Mhm.
like all the old buildings, the bricks, and there's a lot of history. A lot of the towns like Montpelier looks like a scene out of like a movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be super cool. Yeah, even here, that's like once you start dipping south, like southern Colorado into New Mexico, Arizona, all through like the Indian reservations and stuff. Yeah, it's really cool, like it's really scenic and photogenic. And so
Yeah,
yeah, we
fucking New Mexico, that is an underrated state. Like I
oh,
remember driving through the
beautiful.
southwest, the
Yeah.
Colorado, like Taos and all that area.
Yeah.
It's fucking
Gorgeous.
yeah, it's awesome. But then I guess going to New Year podcast wise, anything you're
I,
hoping to do, you're gonna keep
just
it
to keep doing it,
keep it. Anybody hoping to get on or like what's the
Well, you just had like a few that I want on, Alec being one of them. So,
yeah,
uh, yeah, I don't know, man. We'll see. I mean, I've got some people that sounds like are probably gonna happen that I'd be excited about, and I've had
nice.
some ideas on some stuff we could, because I'm still not like I mean, I started even last year, the last time we talked, I had been doing some of the video releases too, all just like the short video stuff.
The clip stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but lately I haven't been because I
Dude,
don't
the
know.
clip it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
I
Yeah.
Cause
And
I
it's
do the
like,
audio and then I have been uploading every video onto YouTube, which is not that hard. But the clips is it's a lot more work.
yeah. Well, and it just, I don't know, man. It's a Zoom conversation. Like it just doesn't, I know like it probably does something for someone, but it doesn't do anything for me. And so I don't know. I'd
Hey,
rather,
your face is covered anyway, so they're not gonna see it. But yeah, that's good, Rick. Well,
buddy. It's
glad
always
we
good catching up with you, man. You
yeah,
know?
dude. And yeah, one of these times I'll make the trip out there and we'll do it in
Yeah.
person.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll get there. Maybe I'll show up in Boston. It's been a
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah, always welcome, man. And
Yeah. I
it'll
think
be
yeah.
perfect. Yeah, we'll end it there.
Yeah.
All right. So there you have it. That was the holiday episode with Ric Stovall of the Visual Revolutionary podcast. I can't thank Rick enough. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I look forward to doing this episode every year. Just touching base with Rick and just seeing what he's been up to and what he's been working on. So can't thank Rick enough. Definitely go check out his podcast, The Visual Revolutionary. It's available where all podcasts are, Spotify, Apple, all that jazz. But definitely go check it out. And like I mentioned with this episode, with the promo code Banter, if you go to pickdrop.com, you'll get 2 months free. So definitely go check that out. And as always, thanks so much for listening and happy holidays.